everyone. Gavin Lance Top here. I'm here with Chris Milligan. Thank you for coming on today, mate.
Thanks, Jen.
So Chris Milligan is just an amazing husband, an amazing father, a business owner, a leader in his community. He's doing so many great things, write books, programs, mate. You're just an amazing man all round. But mate, you've just completed our masculine reset, our 10-week masculine reset, which is amazing. And I suppose just for people that are listening, a little bit of a heads up about that. I actually started doing that in 2009 for men looking, for getting out of a rut, for feeling like they'd plateaued as a husband, as a father, as a leader, and just got in a rut. Now, I did that for about 10 years to 2019. And of course, then we put it online. And so we did it online for a couple of years, which was just amazing, where we've seen men almost in some words resurrect their masculinity, which was amazing. And of course, with what I'm always growing and changing and developing, we've gone on to, create a 12-month Man Alive experience. But mate, today, the masculine reset, the 10 weeks, mate, where were we at when you kind of did that? Why did you do it?
Yeah. Well, why I did it was because of where I was at, Gav. So, I guess I would use the word as stagnant, right? Like I knew there was some things that I wanted to do. There was, I knew what the mission was in me, but it was almost like that light had been turned down so low that I didn't even believe that that's what it was. And I would always question and doubt that I had that purpose in me to pursue. And I would use that as an excuse to not do what I knew that I had to do. And then on top of that, there was at a point where it was just being overworked for not enough money, if that makes sense. Just working nonstop all the time. There was none of that work-life balance, and definitely not living life that I wanted to live and not on my terms.
Yeah. And mate, so I suppose when the masculine reset, what happened when you first sort of started it, that first video, first questions? I mean, what stood out?
So at the very beginning, it was great for me anyway, to confront that dream question, because for me, I knew it was there. Like I know it was like dim and very quiet, but I knew it was there. So it was just amazing to start off like that, to almost be validated. And validation is another part of the course that I really, really enjoyed, that spoke, deep to me. But being validated that there is a calling in you, there is a mission in you, and you do need to pursue it. That was fantastic to start the course like that.
Yeah. So it kind of gives you the green light to go, because we know the world is saying, be careful, play it safe, hold back, make sure all your ducks are lined up.
Yeah. Don't do this. Be cautious.
Yeah. And mate, and I know your journey, what actually it's lit, what you're actually doing now. But mate, so once you establish that, then how did with this masculine reset, what else, or what was the next thing that sort of clicked you back?
I guess part of it, because it's not, it is described in the course, but the discipline, right, of saying, hey, I'm going to have this time and I'm going to commit to this, and I am going to invest in myself, and then the actionable steps that go with it. So it's not just like reading a book, and then this is a horrible habit that I used to have, is I would just consume books and then do nothing about it. I would consume all this information, and I don't know if it's as bad as not doing anything about it, but it's not good. It's not good. No. So having those actionable steps and the structure and the discipline around it, doing it week by week, knowing the time that I'm going to commit to it, I thought that was very, very important as well.
It's hard to say what's worse. It's probably worse for you knowing what to do but not taking action.
It's like poison, Gav. Honestly, that's what my experience was like. It was like having poison in my system.
So with this reset, okay, so you've woken up there and there. What was kind of the next thing? Because as you said, having the structure, because what I've seen with over the last 15 years, most men, they want to grow, they want to change, they just don't know what the next step is.
Mm.
How did you find the process?
Yeah, it was great, like I said, to go through the designated times to know this is when I'm going to get it done. And then as it unfolded, it was almost like this thing, like unfolding or blossoming. So like as you go through it, each week builds on the last. So it's almost like there's a foundation and then it just gets built upon and built upon and built upon. But, you know, one of the big things for me in that was the validation, even receiving, like we said, that validation for the first week that, hey, you do have a dream and you need to pursue it. And then like that validation was a massive one for me in the course.
Yeah. And what about the questions? Because, you know, like you say, you've been great one for consuming information, but then the questions make you look inside.
Absolutely, yeah. And the great thing with that, with the questions, is you're putting pen to paper, so you're taking an action about it, but it changes the way that you think about it, and you probably spend a bit more time rather than just, oh yeah, I read this and forget about it. Like for me, writing stuff down it definitely changed the thought process around it. And like I said, while it establishes that discipline of taking action, there was more to do than just consume. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. And I suppose, how did that affect, you know, your home life, your work life, your business life, your health? How did that affect all of that?
Yeah, with the discipline that come along with it, I mean, that's so important to impose in other areas of your life. Like I used to be, you know, just so fit and healthy, and I just completely neglected that for so long, using the excuse, like, it's okay because I'm busy. It's okay because I'm trying to work in this business. It's okay, you know, just all these excuses really, and it's not like it is definitely not okay to neglect your health. Like it really isn't. So. And then the other part was we got a lot more disciplined around, like in business wise, about the type of people that we wanted to deal with and the type of customers that we wanted to have. We were so fearful about saying no to people because we thought there would be, you know, missed opportunities. And then we just started, I don't want to use the word ruthless, but we really raised our standards on the type of people we wanted to transact with.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Because there was
people. I suppose that's environment, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that's definitely part of the environment, the people that you bring into it. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. And I suppose what else, when then as a result of that, like, so I suppose on the back, I mean, there's, like I said, there's 10 weeks, there's 10 topics, there's umpteen questions on the back of the stories. Where did it lead you to, I suppose, the back end of the 10 weeks?
So towards the end, like the last video finishes with legacy. And, you know, for me, that's a huge one because you're going to leave something behind. Like I always took for granted that you're either going to do something big and it's going to be huge and it's going to be a positive impact or not. But that's actually not the case. Like having, you know, thought about it and done the questions and, you know, watching, you know, your videos on it, you're going to leave a legacy. And it's not necessarily going to be a big, huge positive one. You know, it can be one. You're leaving these seeds in people. That's the way I look at it now. Like some of the things like that you cover in legacy, it's not what you leave for people, but what you leave in them. And some of the biggest things that have been left for me have been left in me. You know, just like those one-liners or those sentences that that really had an impact. It's crazy to think now, looking back upon it, that there was all these moments in my life, just one or two sentences from people who really determined the course of my life. So you're gonna have what really made me aware was I'm gonna have an impact on people whether I like it or not. So I need to focus on it being a positive one, because you're going to leave a negative one if you don't.
And I mean, mate, I mean, due to time, you know, but I mean, I'd love to talk to you all day because I know you've gone on after the masculine reset, and then just really things have ramped up with the man alive experience. But that's maybe another video. But mate, even just listening to you about your legacy, because I know one of your sons recently turned 13. How was, I suppose, your masculine reset affected him, do you think?
Oh, it couldn't not, because there's been so many moments, Gav, like it's almost like a waterfall that cascades down, and that's been wonderful to see, and like that water like just nurtures the growth within the family. So like with the boys, for example, it's at the time now it's becoming more and more frequent where I'll go to say something where I'm trying to like reinforce them. Like we have this game now where I tell them every time that I see them before either I drop them off to school, or if I don't take them before I, like the last time I see them, I say, hey, go change the world, right?
Yeah.
And then they know that I asked them when they get home from school, how did you change the world today? And even
Yeah.
it's just, they don't have to do something huge, but just to look for that positive impact that they could have on someone, you know, and what happens now is I'll go to say something and then one of them will say it instead. It's like their word, it's my words coming out of their mouth. So like that environment has now changed where
Yeah.
they're doing the validating, they're doing the encouraging,
Yeah.
it's almost like
And
they're now.
that makes me a happy man, because that's it. This masculine reset, yeah, it is for you and it is for whoever does it, but it's not just, that's just thinking small. It's going to impact everyone around you. When you talk about legacy, we don't know how far this impact's going to have, but it's going to be huge.
Huge, yeah.
So, mate, there's going to be people that are going to watch this, see this, listen to this. You know, we're actually starting the next 10 weeks, September 11th. Going to get a group of men and do it together. Mate, what would you say to somebody who's thinking about this?
I wish I knew that silver bullet, Gav, that would just get, you know, the men to take action. Because I know there's like, you know, for me personally, there was just so much hesitancy for so long. And I knew I had to do it. I didn't need any, you know, convincing. I guess part of that would be, I would say, is what you said to me was, if not you, then who?
Yeah.
And if not now, then when? Like, what are you going to wait for? Are you going to wait for a disaster? You're going to let another year go by? Because if you're going to wait a day, you're going to wait a week. And if you're going to wait a week, you're going to wait a month. And if you're going to wait a month, you're probably going to wait a year. And if you're going to wait a year, you're probably going to wait 10.
Yeah.
And just like that, decades go by. And just do it. Don't let that time go. Don't let don't lose that time of that positive compounding interest that, you know, that you can have even at such a short period of time of, say, like 10 weeks of just reestablishing a foundation for, you know, the years of your life. Like, don't hesitate. Don't wait for that disaster before you want to fix it.
Mate, it's powerful. It's powerful. So, hey, mate, I want to say a massive thank you coming on today. Hey, to our audience. Hey, you know, subscribe to our YouTube channel. Check out the next podcast coming out. Hey, we're changing the world. Thank you, Chris, for stepping up, for saying yes to your future, your dreams, because it's impacting you. You know, we heard from your children already. So thank you, mate. Over and out.
Thanks, Jan.